Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Locked Eyes with His Future Wife, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe. Both females' eyes locked, waiting for one of them to make the first move. The class stood quietly awaiting the blood, sweat and tears that were going to be left on the platform, but it wasn't their first time seeing both of them go at it before. Sakura Street USD her opponent carefully, already knowing some of Ino's moves she was probably going to use in the match. Sakura jumped into the clear blue sky and saw her opponent looking up at where she was going to land, but Sakura had been too quick. She landed in front of her and landed a fist to Ino's cheek. Ino responded to losing her position. There's the first hit, Tsunade observed. Ino looked at her opponent in anger. As she got her evil smile in reply, the blonde quickly disappeared and appeared in back of Sakura. Sakura, already knowing where she was going to come from, lifted her leg and kicked Ino's chest with her upper thigh, sending her to the floor. So predictable, Ino. Sakura smiled at her slight injured opponent. Ino stood up, cracking her knuckles. All right then, Sakura. Ino let the little scrunchie in her blonde hair loose, and tied her hair in a tight bun. Let's do this. Ino ran towards Sakura with fist out in front of her. Sakura didn't think twice before running the opposite direction as Ino was going, also with her fist out. It was seconds away from one of them landing the fist when Ino disappeared again. Sakura turned around as before with her leg hitting the wind. Ha! Sakura looked around to see no one. Up here, Ino's voice rang off her ears when she kicked Sakura's face back, making her body flip in mid-air. Ino landed to the ground before jumping back up and catching Sakura's gut with a fist, whiplashing her body to the ground. Predictable, huh? Ino smirked. While they're really going at it, 10-10 looked over to her classmates to see them all literally with their jaws wide open. Never mind, wrong time to talk. Sakura felt the blood oozing down her lip. She whipped it off and let it DS from her fist when she curled it back into a ball, furious at the hit she had taken. Ino, you want crazy? I'll show you crazy. Sakura yelled as she disappeared again. Ino looked around knowing wherever she was going to come out was going to be a dirty move. Sakura appeared in front of her and lashed her hands for Ino's blonde hair, yanking on it. She landed a right knee to Ino's forehead and another one with her left. Ino, barely conscious, lifted her leg backwards, far enough to hit Sakura in the nose, causing a small nosebleed. Sakura moved a couple of feet back, thinking of her next strategy to use. Coming up with one, she put it into play. Sakura jumping up in the air, coming down furiously with one leg aiming for Ino and the other one folded in. Ino quickly jumped, causing Sakura's foot to s the ground into pieces of stones. Sakura recovered and aimed a fist at Ino's face. Ino, kicking up a rock piece, held it in front of her when Sakura said it with the power of her chakra in her fists. Damn, Ino thought before feeling the cold fist touch her F again. Repeatedly Sakura punched Ino's face in, making Ino bite her tongue on accident. The blood drooled out her mouth and she spat it out. Recovering once again, she thought she was seeing double of her opponent. Let's play dirty then. Ino shouted as she grabbed Sakura's pink hair and wrapped it around her wrist. Sakura, taking the chance, wrapped her fingers between her locks. Now both females stood there groaning and ming at the pain. The blonde broke out of it when she kneed Sakura in the stomach, followed by a fist to her right cheek and ending it with a perfect knee to her face, Sakura's body twirling around as the result. Go Ino! Naruto cheered before catching a bad eye from Tsunade. Choosing sides was not a good way to end something, but then again, Sakura might fight harder to win. Sakura's getting a beating. Shika smiled at his friends around him. Lee, not moving the smile out his face, replied, who do you think's going to win? Knowing both of them, they might just K each other here, Shika joked and a slight of red came across on his face. Get up, Sakura, Ino ordered. Sakura spat out the blood in her mouth and checked if she had the blood running down her nose. Nothing was coming out, so she got off the floor, watching Ino's fist tighten. This ends now, Ino. Sakura yelled when she started running out to her again with fist out before her. Ino then ran at her as well, with her fist out. Here it comes. Shika's smile dissolved into seriousness. Sakura and Ino were 3 feet away when Sakura's fist landed on Ino's face, Ino's fist hitting Sakura as well on perfect cue. Is it over? Hinata asked, seeing both girls stand still with their fist in each other's faces. Both females' knees began to shake. I'm sorry, Ino. Sakura looked into Ino's blue orbs. I'm sorry, Sakura. Ino replied before both females collapsed to the ground. No one was able to hear what words they exchanged before falling, so everyone ran to their aid, mostly towards Ino. Ten ran for Sakura, still feeling as part of this was her fault for last night. Ino, you okay? Temari held Ino's head on her lap while Shika, Lee, and Neji surrounded them. Gaara and Sasuke stayed standing in their spot they've been the whole time. She's alright, Temari announced at the crowd of people, seeing Ino's eyes open, allowing the sun to reflect the light of her blue orbs. Sakura's fine as well. Hinata saw Sakura move her head on the floor. Ten looked down at her and grabbed a napkin she had in her pocket. With it she wiped the sweat around her face. That was a good fight, Sakura. Sakura heard the words through her ear and awoke to the sun pounding on her eyes. Ino, Sakura. Tsunade walked over to the two females on the floor. A creepy smile crawled on her face, not too sure if she was pleased. Everyone just stayed quiet. You to get AA, you both were equally good, Tsunade smiled, checking of something on her clipboard she was holding. She noticed the girls had been trough hell and back. You two can go sit down. Tsunade pointed for Shika and Lee to help him over to the spot. Shika grabbed Ino by the legs while Lee grabbed her by her shoulders. Lifting her up, they brung her to a shade near a tall dark tree with falling leaves. After they saw she was good enough, they went and grabbed Sakura. Placing her next to Ino, they asked, are you two okay? I'm fine, Ino barely said, breathing a little hard. I'm okay too, Sakura replied. Shika winked at them before walking back over to the group with Lee next to him. Temari walked over to the girls with a frown on her face. Her friend had put up a good fight but had gotten badly injured. Good fight? Temari stuck out her hand to Sakura. Sakura, wondering what to do next, looked at her in surprise, reaching for it. Both females connected hands and smiled towards one another. Even if Sakura had said that comment earlier about her and started all these problems between all their friendships, Temari did respect her for putting up quite a match. Grudges were never her thing. And you, Ino, you did good out there as well, Temari smiled, walking away from both the resting girls. Tsunade blew her whistle, indicating the next and final match was about to go on. Everyone watched as Sasuke leaped on the platform and rolled his eyes, cracking his legs, arms, and along with it as well. Naruto. Tsunade looked for him and pointed him to the platform. Naruto walked over to the opposite side of Sasuke and glared at his demon-looking eyes. Sasuke glared 10 times bad. Naruto could have sworn he saw a bit of red in them. Warm up, you'll be starting soon. This should be interesting. Neji crossed his arms. We never seen Naruto's abilities in battle. You got that right. Shika put his hands in his pockets and looked up at the clear blue sky, lost in though he forgot what was about to happen. Ino and Sakura stood quite leaning on the tree. Ino wanted to say something but didn't know how Sakura would react to it. What the hell, she told herself. You fought good, Sakura. Sakura took a moment to let the words sink in, thinking whether to reply or not. She decided to swallow everything that has happened. Thanks, you did to Ino, pig. She saw Ino's eyes looking at her. Sakura looked back into her eyes. Before long she felt Ino's arms around her. Sakura didn't react at first but soon she felt her arms around the blonde. Losing a friend you care about was a waste of time. Both of them realized that once everything was said and done, the friendship between them would once again try to rebuild itself. Both Naruto and Sasuke stood motionless looking at each other's blue eyes, anticipating who would make the first move. Tsunade yelled, fight! Both warriors stood still, observing everything about them. Are they going to fight or have a staring contest? Temari said, a little annoyed that no one was moving. She looked at Naruto whose eyes still were on the raven when he disappeared out of nowhere. That's more like it, Temari smiled along with the rest of the class. Ha! Sasuke thought, ready for battle when Naruto appeared behind him and pushed him, sending a kick to his back as well. Sasuke fell and rolled into a ball and jumped back up, pretending the hit he had just taken was nothing. You don't know who you're up against, kid. Sasuke yelled as he ran forward to the blonde teen. Naruto, being a bit smarter, jumped up before he could grab him and grasped his blue jacket and flipping his body over and landing it on the hard concrete. Sasuke grunted as he got back up in a fighting stance, watching Naruto smile at him. Sasuke disappeared and appeared above Naruto, wrapping his legs around Naruto's en. He flipped and slammed Naruto's body to the ground. He then landed down on Naruto with his heavy elbow, grinding it into his chest. The Raven did backflips back to where he had started and watched Naruto get up, holding his chest in pain. He looked over to see Ino sitting next to the tree. He didn't want to show Ino he was weak. He actually wanted to impress her, and that's what he was intending to do. Tsunade was very impressed with how spicy things had gotten in a couple of minutes and was taking notes when she saw Sasuke flying over to Naruto and landed himself in front of him, kicking him in the chest and tossing Naruto in the air. Sasuke followed and jumped back into the air, sending fists, kicks and elbows towards Naruto's body and face. Naruto's mouth was de-sping with blood so early into the fight, but Sasuke had no mercy. All of a sudden, Sasuke missed a fist, causing Naruto to catch him off guard and punching him in the face with his right fist. Naruto disappeared and appeared in back of the Raven. He grabbed his waist and flipped him, sending Sasuke's body down to the ground with his shoulders first. This kid is new and already whooping ass, Tsunade thought, watching the blonde go toe-to-toe with the Raven. Man, we have to watch out for him. Sheikah looked back at Lee and Neji, who were also in awe with their jaws dropped open. Sasuke's body remained still on the ground when he started moving again. Naruto saw that and quickly prepared for attack again. I should let them see it. Naruto referred to one of his powers that the class would probably be impressed with. Behind Sasuke appeared a clone of Naruto smiling down at him. Sasuke, furious as he was, got up quick and punched the clone and it puffed away. Sasuke saw Naruto on the opposite side of him and wondered if he was seeing things. Sasuke rubbed his eyes when 3 more Naruto clones appeared in front of him. The left one kicked the Raven in the stomach, the right one kneed him in the chest, and the middle one punched him in the face, and all 3 disappeared when Sasuke's eyes bulged out his head, seeing who was coming running towards, punched him in the stomach, sending his body flying across the battlefield. Come on Naruto, you can beat him, Ino thought. Sasuke's eyes were closed as he was drifting off into the black. No Sasuke, something kept telling him, keep fighting. Sasuke opened his dark blue eyes to see over 50 Narutos around him, all ready to beat the hell out of him. What the hell? Sasuke slowly got up and watched closely to see who was the real Naruto. That's so cool. Ten noticed, and as well as everyone watched to see who was the real blonde, and was Sasuke able to figure it out. Gaara was observing the clones carefully and noticed one on the far left of him that was a bit different. Sasuke turned but nothing. Just then he opened his lips to make a "oh" with them and aimed for the Naruto in front of him, blasting a beam of fire. He took out the first clone, then he rotated his body around in the circle, destroying the clones one by one until Naruto jumped up in the air right before Sasuke hit him with the fire. He flew down, making 2 more clones at his side. The Raven was getting impatient with his foolish games and went after all 3. The clones grabbed after Sasuke, but he quickly turned them into nothing with his fire. The real Naruto kicked to his chest but missed. Sasuke grasped his leg and brung it down, wrapping his arms around Naruto's body. He then flipped both of them, aiming their heads towards the ground. Sasuke let go at the last second and sent Naruto's body 3 feet under the ground. Everyone saw as Naruto's body disappeared into the ground. Not knowing if he was alive, they began calling his name. Tsunade didn't know whether to stop the fight or let them go at it. It was probably his strategy. Sasuke opened his mouth again and let the fire beam come out and surround the outside of the hole that Naruto's body was in. Everyone gasped, Naruto. Ino yelled, trying to get up with support of the tree. Sakura watched as what could have been Naruto's last fight. Sasuke. Tsunade yelled, dropping her clipboard with her bulging eyes out, wondering what just happened. Sasuke started laughing but stopped when he heard something move. He felt something touch him on his shoulder. He turned to have a fist implanted into his left cheek. Naruto. Everyone yelled at once, surprised he had survived the last attack. He looked back at them and replied, ever heard of clones? He winked before grabbing Sasuke's and kneeing him in the face, causing blood to come out his nose. The blonde let go of the Raven and began to run around the battlefield, confusing Sasuke as his speed was increasing. He was running at the speed similar to Lee's but not quite. Sasuke was out of ideas when something popped out. He opened his mouth and blew the beam of fire at Naruto, rotating his body again following Naruto. The blonde did not notice what Sasuke was doing. He had enclosed the field with a circle of fire, trapping both fighters in it. Stand back. Tsunade yelled and everyone ran back as far away from the fire. It was sending sparks up in the air and being tossed down to the ground. The blue bangs covered Sasuke's eyes. A sinister smile crawled up to his face. Naruto, a little worried, looked around at the dark area. He could barely see the blue sky anymore. Let's play with fire, Naruto. Sasuke yelled and a beam of fire burst out of his mouth, aiming at the defenseless blonde. Naruto started whispering something in his ear and formed symbols with his fingers and hands. As the beam was about to hit his face, Naruto looked up and put both hands together in front of him, causing a white light to come out and send the fire back at Sasuke. Naruto yelled as the power endorsed his body and his hair blew in the wind. Sasuke jumped up when he saw the light coming at him and ran towards Naruto. Naruto aimed his hands around the whole circle, clearing the fire and almost hitting Sasuke, but he vanished as it hit. Naruto's light disappeared, he fell to his knees with heavy breathing. Sasuke appeared in front of him, also out of breath. Sasuke's going to win, Ino. Sakura spoke in a worried way. Everyone heard her and believed what she was saying. From the looks of it, the Raven had won. Sasuke raised his fists but lost control and fell to his knees as well. Tsunade ran in between the field and finished the match. Draw. She yelled as she raised her hand in the air and everyone crowded around her. Help him up, Tsunade ordered. Shika and Lee went and put Naruto's arms around their NS, while Neji, Temari and Tenten assisted Sasuke. I can get up myself, he mumbled and lifted his shaky self of his knees and looked at the blonde ahead of him. Ino and Sakura held each other up as they walked towards Naruto. Good fight, both said in union. Naruto and Ino locked eyes once again. He winked at her and she blushed, feeling the same way when he first winked at her before. When Naruto could control himself, he walked over at Sasuke, who was standing alone, and stuck out his hand. The class looked at them and Tsunade observed herself. Sasuke looked down at his hand that had been trough hell and back and looked him in the eyes. Naruto forced a smile to his face, but it vanished as Sasuke turned around and slowly walked away from him, leaving everyone shocked. Okay class, back to the school. Tsunade interrupted the moment and everyone began to walk back to the building. Ino fell behind with Naruto limping behind her. She noticed her arm wrapped around her and she looked over to see Naruto next to her, the sun's light reflecting perfectly of his blue eyes once again. Can I get a hand? Naruto smiled. Ino felt his soft arm on her and wanted him to wrap the other one around her waist and pull her close. Sure, the blonde female put her arm around his waist and held him close, their faces almost touching. She could feel him breathing on her. She liked how they were holding each other. You did good out there, Ino spoke, looking at him and locking eyes with him for the third time. He smiled before answering, thanks, you weren't bad yourself. Both blondes walked up the stairs to the school's ground in each other's arms, helping one another, and Ino hoping his hands would never let go of her. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.